Thank you, Roddy. Thank you for having me. So I'm Jason Chapman. I head up the majors and commercial team at Zoom. What that means is I have 15 account executives, and we look after everything from over 500 plus employees all the way up to 10,000. So interestingly, double version of me, there we go. So interestingly, here at Zoom, we're seeing things as we're in the midst of a revolution when it comes to the way that we work. Interestingly, we've gone in the last 10 years from having on-prem and our own private instances of technology to we've then gone to private hosted cloud to now full cloud. And then that's being accelerated again with AI. And each time in turn, we've asked the people within our businesses to keep up with that change and that productivity and ask them to do more with less each and every time. We're seeing AI as the ability for you to give back to your customers and to the people that work for you to empower them to do the jobs that they like the most and reduce those mundane tasks that none of us like. One of the announcements we made yesterday at Zoomtopia as a prime example of this is our AI companion is going to become agentic across the whole of our platform, which means that it can go through your calendar, it can look at your meeting summaries that you've had historically, and it can then recommend and say, right, this meeting here, you don't particularly participate in that very regularly, so we'd recommend you don't do that, and we'll just send you the summary afterwards. So it's those types of things that we're looking at to help people. Interestingly, when we launched AI Companion into our platform, we had this gentleman join us, which is, if you don't know him, his name is Simon Sinek, and he joined one of our all hands, and one of the first questions that we asked him was, Simon, you're a content creator, all this stuff is generative AI, how does that make you feel, and how do you think that's going to change your landscape? He said, well, actually, interestingly, he doesn't feel like that AI is going to replace a load of jobs and we're going to remove a ton of people, but what it will do is it will change where the power lies within the jobs. So in his space, he spoke about how content creation is going to go from the content creator having the power to editors who can actually make the most of AI-generated content and create something more meaningful. And that's what we're trying to see with, or what we're seeing with AI, is that we should be empowering people to do more with less. There we go. So our vision is that you should be bridging and using AI to bridge the gap between your people and your customers and then having an impact on that. Now, you're probably wondering, what do we actually have to do with contact center and phone? We've been in the contact center market for the last 3 years. And as a platform, we divide it into 3 key areas. So you've got your employee experience, which is everything that you need to do your day-to-day job. Customer experience, which is everything that you need to touch your customer. And people experience, which is everything you need to do to help your people feel more engaged with the business. With that, we integrate very heavily into your ecosystem, so Microsoft, Google, et cetera. It's not a them or us. Whilst we compete with them in many spaces, actually, we're very friendly with them and integrate very heavily into their platform. What that means for you and why the one platform is interesting and how it helps organizations, particularly if we focus on the contact center part of the market, is at the moment, when we go through the process of, for instance, IDing our customers and understanding who's actually calling in. We take them through the process, they go through an IVR, somebody answers, we go through that process of giving over our information. Then if we need to go to the back office, it then typically gets transferred across to somebody in the back office. That person in the back office then asks you the same questions again, quite frustrating. And then if you need to go somewhere else, they ask you again. So the whole idea being that with one platform, you can truly make that seamless transition for you and your customers. So from our standpoint, we can do things like the virtual agent, taking the ID and V whilst your customers are waiting, pull that through so that your agents know who they're speaking to. They can then actively listen to the call because they're not having to take notes. We're going to summarize that and push that into your system of record. And then afterwards, if they need to hand over to a finance department or a different part that's just using phone and not contact center, we'll summarize that conversation so you don't lose it, push that information across to the person picking it up in that department, and then that person still has insights and even the sentiment in real time as to what's going on. And that's where we think AI can empower your people to do more, because it allows them to actively listen to your customers, allows you to reduce the time on menial tasks, and actually enjoy the things they're doing. So what are the experts actually saying? What we're seeing is a lot of businesses want to go down the route of deploying AI tools. What we're looking at the moment is businesses say, right, what's this tool? Okay, great, it's AI, let's try and put it into our business. And then actually they're struggling with the how or the why they're doing it in the first place. And interestingly, a lot of these projects aren't getting off the ground in the way that they'd like them to. We even have cases, recently I spoke to Daniel Strode, who's the author of From Web 2.0 to 3.0 and worked as a change consultant at Santander. He was explaining that he was advising one of the CIOs that he works with about the cultural change and what needs to happen for AI. And the guy said, look, Daniel, I'm just having a problem where my CEO just doesn't get it. He's calling me almost every other day and telling me just buy AI, as if it's going to fix our problems and that's going to be the end of it. And that's the pressure that you guys, as the intelligent part of the business for information technology, that's the task you're set with. You've got people who don't truly understand what AI is going to do. They just know they want it and they want to improve their business with it. So part of what you need to look at is, why are you doing it in the first place? How are we going to look at the impact for your customers, for your business, and equally for yourselves? And then equally, at the other part, is thinking about longer term. It's going to be an iterative thing. It shouldn't be a big bang where you come in and you replace a ton of people, because the reality is AI is ready, but businesses are not ready to be able to start replacing tons of humans with loads of automation, and people don't necessarily want that. So the main thing is to look at partners and platforms that you can grow with over time and continue to add AI into what you're doing. Equally, AI should just be part of what the product is that you're using. From our standpoint, AI Companion's embedded in every product that you take from Zoom, so you're not paying for a tool as an add-on. Our CEO, Eric Yuan, believes that AI should be for the many and not for the few, which means that you as a business should be able to take AI and it's inherently in part of whatever you're buying from that platform. So in terms of results, so what have we actually seen in the last 2 years since we launched? The top 10 things that people love or use the most: summarization, being able to ask questions, the catch me up, being able to compose. So we're seeing a lot of generative AI. And when we've dug deeper into that, what we found is, because the agentic stuff hasn't truly been agentic, where people have wanted it to serve them information rather than them going looking for it, it's meant that actually some of the smarter parts of the platform haven't necessarily been as heavily utilized. So as part of our research and development, what we've done is we've listened to customers like yourselves, and then we've developed it so that we'll surface that information for you. So it means that we're looking for AI Companion to be able to say to you, hey, did you notice these trends within your meetings? Did you notice that when you have these phone calls, this is what's happening as a trend? You're seeing this sentiment constantly coming up in your contact center. That's the type of information that's useful to your business, and that's what AI should be doing. It should be humanizing data, bridging the gap between people and technology, and creating an environment where everyone works happier. Some of the customers we work with, I'll skip over that, and then interestingly, just some tests that we ran, GigaCon ran in terms of our response times. Similarly to some of what you're hearing today, our approach to AI is a little bit different in the sense that we have 3 different ways of consuming Zoom's AI. You have Zoom's LLM model, which we build and create ourselves. We then also integrate heavily with Anthropic, OpenAI, Llama, et cetera, and then we can also allow you to bring your own LLM into that. And the idea being, with that federated approach, is that you get the more accurate and better results for your business. And then the next part, and this is going to be my ask for everyone here, is what we can do and what we're trying to do to make life easier is create a calculator for our customers to be able to look at which parts of the platform and AI, how it's going to give them a return on investment. And I would advise anyone to go have a look at the calculator, put that in and just play with it and see what you can get out of the platform. The other part that I would say is please speak to the team at Britannic and come and see us at the Experience Center that we have over in Holborn. You'd be surprised at what we can do, and you'd be surprised at how cool the experience is. I will shamelessly plug the fact that we'll obviously wine and dine you whilst you're there, so it feels like a day out of the office and that you're not going to feel like you're just at work. To make life easier, rather than give you a link that you can barely see, is I've just put it into a QR code for everyone to be able to scan. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me and my team. We're here to help you. The whole AI part is extremely interesting to us, and we really want to help businesses change the way they work. Thank you so much, everyone.